Hello, travel biz owner. Welcome to my corner of the travel industry, the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to have fun, be inspired, get clarity, and take action in your travel business, then you're in the right place. Let's jump in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. I legit just recorded my next week's episode. It is such a fun and special episode because it is episode 250. It is also weird because I talk about today's episode in that episode. So in the time space continuum, it's a little bit odd talking about one or the other. But hopefully it makes sense in this timeline. Today, though, it's episode 249. And there's been a lot of conversation about marketing and why marketing might not be working for your travel agency. And that's kind of what inspired this episode that I wanted to really share. What I kind of feel are 5 of the core problems that I'm finding as to why your marketing isn't working. Some announcements real quick. I just really wanted to shout out my friend Stephanie Cannon. I have mentioned this on social media, and you'll see this in my email if you're on my email list. She helped me set up my QuickBooks Online so I could prep more easily for my taxes and just making sure I'm reconciling everything a little bit better. Holy moly, I fought so hard to avoid doing this, and now I'm why did I not do this? I'm kicking my past self in the pants. So I just wanted to shout it out. If you also need to get your finances in order, or if you've been using a spreadsheet like I was and you're kind of done keeping track that way and just want things to be a little bit more automatic, and you don't want to do it yourself, because I don't even know what that would have looked like if I just tried to set it up on my own. Definitely consider hiring Stephanie, because that was one of the best choices that I could have made in my business. Also want to plug another friend, Nikita France. She's the founder of Social Jet AI, formerly known as Travel Agent Collective. She is currently having a steal on her template vault, which I think is less than $200. It's insane, but I think it does expire. That promo does expire today, Friday. What's today? April 10th. So if you want to get in on it, I'll go ahead and I'll link it there into the show description so that you can go ahead and take a look if you want to make social media just a little bit easier, at least have templates when you're not really sure, for those times that you're not really sure what to post when. So those are the big things. Oh, another big thing that happened, and I'm not sure if there's been any resolution yet. Thank you to so there's a couple things with ASTA. First off, there was a news station in Pennsylvania, and I hope that they correct it. ASTA is urging them to correct it. That said, yeah, go to a travel advisor for advice and then just book the trip on your own. And I'm what the heck are you doing? Now, many of you already reached out to that news station. Many of you all already reached out to ASTA, even before I knew what was going on. So I'm sure there will be some resolution to reverse that message and be don't do that, because that's a gross thing for you to do. But just wanted to put it out there too, that's one of the many benefits of being a member of ASTA, is that they can fight during these types of situations. Something else that I know that ASTA is currently fighting, and I have to shout out Nikki Hendricks, because that's who I saw posted about this. I think in the state of Maryland. So if you live in Maryland, or if you have clients that live in Maryland, ASTA is fighting a bill that would mean you would have to pay $300 every single year to the state of Maryland to either operate your travel agency or to sell travel to people that live in the state of Maryland. So highly recommend. I think ASTA's asking for everybody to send in messages and emails or letters to the state of Maryland. I'm not sure. I think Nikki Hendricks has a Facebook group for travel advisors to take a look at. Nikki Hendricks is also I think it's Favorite Grampy Travels. Please forgive me, Nikki, if I said the wrong thing there. But I'm sure you can reach out to her. She'd be more than helpful. Also reach out to like just your local ASTA chapter to see what this Maryland issue is and what you can do to help it, because it's really great like that ASTA fights for travel advisors to like avoid these types of costs. It's even better when you're able to put your 2 cents on that, or also put your voice to the cause, because the more people that are talking about it, the more people that are raising awareness about it, the more time, I can't guarantee it, but the more times they're apt not to do something if so many people are upset by it. So definitely let your voice be heard. This isn't the first fight that ASTA has had about something like this, but and it definitely probably won't be the last, but we want to make sure that we can avoid like having an excess fee on travel businesses. So wanted to let you know that that was also going on in the travel industry. I'm not sure if there's any other news, but I think like that's the top things that have happened. So let's get into what some of the core problems of your marketing might be. Now, I have 5 things that I've outlined, and I'm going to see if maybe, no guarantees though. And I feel like every time that I do try and make an episode shorter, it always ends up being longer, just because I know that my 250th episode next week is going to be a long one. It's like just under an hour, but it is a really fun one, also very informative one. So number 1 of what your core problem might be in your marketing is that you don't know who your right fit client is. And this really does go into like drawing the line in the sand as to what your specialty will be in the travel industry. And I say it's like that is part of it. The other part of it is like, if you know who your client is, you haven't defined them well enough. You haven't like really dove into who they are, what their qualms are, and like what their dreams and desires. Like you don't really know them yet. Now, a hack for you that I like to say, and I know other people like to say also, is that your best type of client is going to be some version of you. I'll never forget, like when I was still focusing on the agency side of things, a coach had mentioned to me that I should focus on solo travel because I was technically a solo traveler. However, that was not the travel style that I did. I traveled solo a lot, but if I'm going to be traveling like for a vacation, like I would have much rather traveled with like family or friends, not solo. So I'm like, I could have taken that advice and like gone forward with that, but that was in total misalignment with who I was. Now you have to think about who you are. Now, I know a lot of you specialize in like neurodivergent families, because you also deal with, or deal is the wrong word, but you have that within your family as well. You know the many different aspects of like what you struggle with, what you wish could happen, the different things when it comes to travel that you have to pay extra special attention to, that maybe a family that doesn't have a neurodivergent child have to deal with. And so thinking about that, you already have like a fast pass into the brain, into the mind, into what your type of traveler is thinking. I also think like there's many of you who are empty nesters, and that's the type of travel that you focus on. So you've got to like really, it's peeling the onion layer back on who your ideal client is. You have to do a really big, great analysis on this. And if you need to like go to AI to help you, I would encourage you to do that too. I mean, we can always like jump on a power hour call, but it can be a lot faster if you just go. I don't want you to, it doesn't have to be like specifics. Like, and I don't really want you going into like demographics per se, like single income households that make $250,000. Like, those things are important, but also not important when it comes to that. Especially like when we're talking about marketing and social media marketing, the word words that you need to be aware of is that it is all about connection and community. And the only way that like you can connect with other people, or there's a couple of ways, but one, you have to be vulnerable enough to like share part of you to be able to connect with other people. You also have to know other people and like what are they going to relate to? What are certain things, like certain stories, certain happenings? Like I can imagine like new mom doesn't feel like she can go outside of the house because she has to take care of the baby, doesn't feel comfortable getting out of the house. But you know that she would love like a staycation close to home, or she would love to like go on a trip outside. So what are those like fears? What's holding her back? What does she need to be aware of that's going to make it an easier trip for her? Those are the things that you can connect with other people on in your marketing, and that you should be connecting. Because I say social media, but these should also be things that are like on your website copy. This should be things that are on like your inquiry form. There's certain things that I know about who my ideal client is that you would have never had any idea. And I'm going to give some tangible examples because I'm going to go through like my own social media of way back when, a couple years ago, when I was doing a lot of social media for my travel agency, so that you can get like specific examples of this. But this is probably one of like the most popular things that I see, is that you are trying to sell everything, which means you are selling nothing. And even if you are trying to sell like multiple different destinations, different types of experiences, there is a certain type of client that you are speaking to, because how you speak to a honeymoon client is going to be very different than how you speak to a client that wants to travel with their family of young kids. It's going to be very different than how widows and widowers are going to be traveling as well. All these different types of people have different needs, have different goals, have different desires. There's certain things that are going to bug widows and widowers that are not going to bug regular like honeymoon couples or destination wedding couples. There's certain things that's going to bug families with small children that honeymoon couples like don't even have any clue about. And those are the things that you really need to be relating in your marketing. And if you're not being like hyper specific, which is kind of like one of my other points in here, you are missing out. Because I know a lot of what I have heard recently is that you're not getting the right types of clients, or you're not getting any clients at all. And I feel like a lot of the reason, like the core of that, is because you don't know who your ideal client is, or you haven't defined them. So like when I look back and I'm looking, I know I've mentioned before, like back in 2020, end of 2019, I was focusing on cruise retreats. And so even if I look at most of my social media for 2020, it doesn't really talk a lot about like the retreat experience. Like I still hadn't honed in on who my ideal person was. Like I hadn't connected with my ideal clients for the agency are team leaders, so think a lot about HR, and then also business coaches who would run retreats. So I'm here scrolling my social media right now because a lot of the updates used to be things like what's happening in the news because it was the pandemic and all of that was happening. I was also trying to like use different people's like inspiration for things to post, but it wasn't really until like I started putting myself out there more. Like I started going live. I started sharing a framework of like my 5 C's of cruise retreat planning that I feel like I started getting a lot of traction. And so I feel like this was more like end of 2020, beginning of 2021. There's really a new era of Rita on social media. So I would do a lot of carousels, and then I would do a lot of trending audio. So some of the things that I would post about, like I'm looking at a carousel, it's why to plan your cruise retreat for the beginning of the year. Obviously, team leaders and business coaches who are planning retreats are going to want to know that, because that's going to help in their planning process. That also helps them to know a little bit about my thinking of why I feel that way in that position. So a lot of marketing is also showcasing like where's your drawn line in the sand? Like, should people always travel in an inside balcony or in an inside cabin or a balcony cabin? Another funny video that I have here is when you talk to someone who knows just how important the client experience is for the success of the cruise retreat. Something else, keeping your cruise retreat safe. I used to talk a lot about like, we're not sailing now because ships weren't sailing, but I would talk about like, even though that ships aren't sailing, this is the perfect time to start planning your cruise retreat, because when they do start sailing, you're already set to go. One of the themes that I would talk about is staying everyone's favorite company by hosting a cruise retreat. I used to talk a lot about my podcast because I had the cruise retreat podcast. There's a post that I'm looking at now that talk about the basics of cruise retreats. Who plans them? Change-making leaders. What are they? Cruise ship retreats. Where can you do them? Available worldwide. When can you do them? Year-round. Why would you do them? To strengthen and transform. How do you do them? With me, the travel advisor. I would share different like quotes of inspiration. I would do like myths of planning cruise retreats, like they're too expensive, or that cruises don't allow groups, or that there's no meeting space on board, or that cruises won't be safe for a group. I also used to do like partnerships, so I would like partner up with lives on so I would have like other people come, and that's a really great way. Like if you can have like either local business owners or other business owners that are complementary, and you can do a live, meaning you get in front of their audience, they get in front of your audience, that would be very beneficial. Again, timing. Cruises Americans can sail on this summer because they were slowly starting to open up. Why your next business retreat should be at sea. Something of connection, like if today was a sea day, what would you be doing right now? I'm just going through my feed right now. There's Mother's Day. So again, like I'm still at the beginning where I wouldn't say that I was doing really great, but I was starting to build traction. Like another post was businesses that should host a cruise retreat. And like within there, I talk about like coaches, fitness and wellness, food and beverage, because those are easy kinds of niches that would host and that naturally kind of host different types of retreats. If today was a sailing day, what did you probably forget to pack? Traveled, I would have like Travel Tuesday carousel posts just talking about what's on the podcasts. Different quote posts. Do your employees need a blank canvas to spark some new ideas? And then the caption went into all of those different kinds of details. Another quote post, like to be a trailblazer for your clients. So you can really see, like, I am really speaking into the desires. There's also a little bit of like that emotion, like, well, yes, of course I want to be a trailblazer for my team. So you have to speak more to emotions, less to logic, and also put in like that, like what's in it for me, because saying that, like to be a trailblazer for your clients, well, heck yeah, a business coach would love to be a trailblazer for their clients because that sets them apart, that creates loyal clients, that keeps clients that keep wanting to come back and utilizing their services. That's an immediate what's in it for me. It just can't be blanket stale statements that anybody can say. I mean, maybe other people that specialize in what I do could say some of those things, but that's not a lot of other people are saying that also. So also being able to say something that's against the grain per se, or that not a lot of people would say. Like, I feel like something kind of going back to another example is like, yeah, you should plan your cruise in an inside cabin because you aren't going to spend that time. Would I ever say that? No, but maybe you feel like that, so you should say it, and your people might like that and appreciate that as well. Maybe there are certain people that do have like light sensitivities that they need to be in an inside cabin and they can't be in a balcony. I don't know who that is, but you might know who that is. So really leaning in on just everything within like what you've experienced in your life, what you know about the different products that you want to sell, to create highly, highly specific content. I kind of mentioned this for number 1, but number 2 officially is there's no WIIFM in your marketing, partly because you don't know number 1. Now, what exactly is WIIFM? It's what's in it for me. So if you hear me say WIIFM a lot, that's what I mean, is the what's in it for me. There's no what's in it for me, and you don't have that because you don't know number 1 still. You don't know who your client is. The other part of this, and this is something that I've seen in some people's content, is you're talking at your audience and you're not including them in the conversation. You're saying the Great Barrier Reef has the best snorkeling in all of the world. Go to my bio and book a call. And the one reaction that I have to that is, who cares? Like, why would I do that? I'm sorry if this is coming like harsh and abrasive, but I feel like you also need to like hear this. Like, especially like if you are using ChatGPT to create hooks, which it doesn't do very well, quite honestly. So you're repeating what ChatGPT is saying. Like, there's no depth of emotion. There's no what's in it for me. Like, who is going to really care? And I'm like, me thinking about like Great Barrier Reef, I would think it's experienced snorkelers, experienced divers, or like even animal people, like maybe geologists, but also like zoological people might have an interest at like seeing like what the flora and fauna of the Great Barrier Reef is. But they're gonna know that the Great Barrier Reef has some of the best snorkeling, has some of the best like flora and fauna in there. So that's obvious to them. So what else might not be so obvious to them? Or can you get it specific to what your niche is? Did you know that the Great Barrier Reef have some of the best beginner snorkeling? That sounds funny. But like being like very particular, did you know like the Great Barrier Reef is the one place that I finally felt refreshed after not being able to take a vacation the past year, or after building my business for the past year and experiencing burnout? When you add these specific like markers, these indicators of who might be traveling or who might be your ideal traveler, you're calling them in. You're helping stop the scroll. Their ears are perked. Their eyeballs are like, hold on a second. How do they know this? Excuse me. Or they're going to be like, tell me more. What do you mean like this was the best vacation after experiencing burnout for a year? What do you mean that I should be heading to Australia for my baby moon? Like what makes it so much more special? And like why should I do that as my baby moon instead of like going on a staycation at home? You need to grab people's attention. And you can do that in good ways and bad ways. I'm trying to get you to do it in good ways that gets people to be like, what are you saying? I want you to open up curiosity, but you cannot open up curiosity if you're just putting blanket statements out there. And you really have to draw people in with like, why would they even care? Like, what's in it for me? Moving on to number 3, because I feel like we've talked a lot about that point, is you're asking for too much specifically on social media. You're asking for too much. You are always asking for something. You are probably always asking for the sale. So if every single one of your posts says, DM me to book a call, DM me to fill out my inquiry form, DM me to work with me, people do like, it is not what I mentioned in the podcast next week is social media is social. It is not sales media. Sales media is an ad, and people like go ahead and scroll off of that. You cannot always be asking for the sale. Like, stop asking for people to go to look at your link. Stop asking people to book that call. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that periodically, But if you're looking at some of these other accounts that are doing really well, and something that I've even been testing myself is not having a call to action. Now, if you have been with me and listening to this podcast for many years, you know I used to tell you not to do that. But social media has changed and evolved. So I have also had to change and evolve my views. I used to say that not having a call to action led to you being an empty post, and that post was useless. But there's a lot more people now that are on social media that maybe don't want to interact or don't want to force interact with your post. And so they would rather bond with you on your post, which kind of goes back to like the last two posts. There are certain posts that you have to make expecting nothing in return, hoping that somebody gets like a little chuckle, a little giggle, hoping that somebody shares it and was like, oh my gosh, I just did that, or that was me, or I can't believe that, or just something that's like really uber relatable, which is kind of like what a lot of those quote posts that I kind of like mentioned as an example would say to do. So again, kind of like going to this post, like you're always asking for something. Stop asking for things in every single post. I kind of like to go with it with the cadence, or stop asking for the sale in every post, because I feel like if you're inviting people to sign up for your free guide or your free webinar or to follow you, those are easy asks of people. It's going to be very easy for somebody to click a button just to follow you. It's going to be very easy for somebody to fill out a form to go ahead and like get a free guide. Like those are no pressure scenarios, but you're dramatically increasing the pressure when it is to schedule a call. Like even if somebody says it's a no pressure call, like I just saw like even one of my coaches that I follow and I listen to mentioned a no pressure call. And I'm like, I'm still going to feel pressure if I schedule this no pressure for your free call. So you have to do things that are also like varied. So that's why I feel like a really easy thing for somebody to do is to follow you. Another really easy thing for people to do that people would want to do if you're giving them useful information is to save the post. Something that's not so easy for them to do is schedule a call with you or go to your link. However, you do need to keep putting that there. So one of the cadences that I like is like for every 4 posts that you're just like putting out there, educating, building authority, that 5th post, you can ask for the sale. So you can ask them to go to your link. You can ask them to book a call with you, but it cannot be every single post. Number 4 is that could be that you're not infusing yourself or your personality in your marketing. Now, I hate saying this, but I think it's also very worthwhile to say this. I know putting yourself out there on social media is awkward as it is, but you do have to be somewhat of a personality to be on social media. I'm not saying that you need to have a fake personality, but I'm saying to be like your true, authentic self on social media. Now, also, partly going with that is that you can't really be a Wednesday Addams, because Wednesday Addams is not very charismatic. It's very kind of like downtrodden, very realistic at times. But I hate saying like you should smile in social media because that also sounds gross. But being happy on social media, like when you're recording something. Now, if you're like recording something personal to you, that's something, maybe something serious, obviously you're not going to be putting a smile there, but you're going to be like very authentic and genuine. But if you're trying to like position yourself as an authority or as somebody that people want to relate to or that somebody people can connect with, if you are like stone cold face, like you look like you just took a picture and it looks like a mugshot, people are, that's not somebody that people want to do business with. So like being able to authentically infuse your personality the way that it is. Now, I could see this if you are Wednesday Addams, if that's part of your brand. where you're like, well, here we go again, another crappy day in the Bahamas. That ends up being kind of like funny. Then you're kind of being like playful. You're being a little bit like, people are able to connect like that. Like, oh, she just said it was a horrible day in the Bahamas, but the sun is shining. That's amazing. Or people can also be starting to think like, well, a crappy day in the Bahamas is still better than being at home working. So there are different ways to go about it, but you do have to like exude a little bit of positivity. You have to exude a little bit of oomph, a little bit of charisma. Now, if this is not natural to you, this is why you need to practice. This is why you need to like get on stories. This is why you need to get on lives. You need to get out of your comfort zone to be better on social media and be better on media. And the only way that that's going to happen is if you do it and if you practice it and if you get on multiple times. Again, I'm not saying that you need to have like a Joker creepy like smiley face, but whatever feels right to you. You want people to do business with you. So you need to have like a positive demeanor. You have to have like a demeanor of somebody that you would also want to do business with. And that it translates on that media. Now, what is interesting is I saw somebody on social media recently say, and this is related, unrelated, like the best way to get clients at your vendor booth is to ignore your clients. Now, I was like, why would you ignore your clients? Because you want people to feel comfortable coming into your booth and not like, oh my gosh, that person's looking at me. Do they think I'm going to steal something from their booth? Are they going to like hunt me down? Like, I just want to be able to shop in peace and privacy. So kind of taking also that into consideration, like there's different types of buyers. Some buyers are going to love Wednesday Addams. Some people are going to be creeped out by Wednesday Addams. I kind of like Wednesday Addams, but I'm like, if you're trying to sell me something that's probably not going to get me to buy anything unless you're trying to sell me like a spooky tour or a spooky trip or a Halloween thing or like a Halloween conference or something like that. Like it has to align. So hopefully I think I've gotten my point across. Like you need to have a little bit of personality. You need to infuse some of you. And if you are not comfortable or confident in that, practice makes perfect. My fifth point when it comes to some of the core problems on why your marketing might not be working is you're not going where your clients are. And this could easily be number one. And like, there's really like no order when it comes to this. Along these lines is that you're waiting for your clients to find you. And if you're new around here, or if you need a refresher, you know that I am not a fan of waiting for clients to find you. So if you are only doing social media marketing and you still haven't gained traction after 6 months, 3 months after doing social media marketing, maybe tune into like 1 through 4 of what I just described and make some tweaks and see if that kind of helps. The other thing is clearly you're not reaching the audience that you need to be reaching on social media. So you need to stop waiting for them to find you. You need to go out and find the people. And while, yes, I'm a huge, like, go make in-person real-life connections, I know that's not feasible for anybody. So you have to go find, like, people of influence that have bigger communities around them that you can leverage those communities, whether that's, like, through a joint venture partnership, whether this is like just getting in front of other people and then maybe they finally like know about you and your business and maybe utilize your services down the line. But you cannot like just keep posting and praying. Like that is not working for you. I've been there. I know that it does not work for me. And so this is why I'm so apt about making relationships, and you can make relationships online. I find that I'm more successful making like friendships and relationships online, and that's how I gain business, than just by solely posting online. So really honing in on that. Like I do not, like I am begging you, please do not wait for the clients to find you. I find that if you are doing this, you probably don't have enough stakes in the game. Meaning that you probably, this is a harsh statement too, but it is also reality. What I'm finding is like, if you are not putting in the effort to be creating relationships that are going to help your business, you probably don't have enough stakes in the game to make sure that your business is successful. Because like myself, if I'm not making money, money is not coming in. And I have a lot of bills to pay. So I'm going to be very SOL. Like, I am not dependent on my partner's income. Like, we both need our income. And even when I wasn't with my partner, I was the only one that was paying all of my bills. I needed to make that happen. So, and I'm not saying that I want you to be uncomfortable either. Well, maybe I am saying that I want you to be, like, I'm not saying that you should do drastic measures to put yourself in like fight or flight to make sure that your business survives. But I need you to get into that mindset of a business owner. And if your business is not making money, something's got to give. Because why do you keep being in this business and you're breaking even or you're losing money every year? The only way to change the outcome is to change your actions. So what are you going to do differently that's probably uncomfortable, probably out of the box, to make sure that you are successful? And so if certain things that you've been trying for a while are not working, I'm not saying this is the solution to all your problems, but I am a very strong proponent that building relationships / the lack of having relationships and the lack of having a network is probably where you are faltering. Because it's not just generating revenue. We need people in business and from other industries to learn from. We need people to like be referral partners for us in rooms that we're not even in. And you can't be that for somebody else if you don't know anybody else and if nobody else knows you and that your business exists. So I think I've kind of like gotten that point out, but these are kind of like what I would say are the biggest core problems when it comes to why your marketing isn't working and why I'm seeing some of you and your marketing not working for you. Now, if you feel like you have done some of these things and your marketing still isn't working for you, reach out to me. Send me a DM, send me an email. I want to hear everything that you're doing. And like, this is like, I'm just genuinely curious to see like what else might be kind of like the link in this business chain that you might be having right now, because I can almost guarantee it's one of those 5 things, but maybe there's something that I haven't even thought of. So I hope this was really helpful, at least in giving you clarity, hopefully giving you a boost. It would be even better if maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I finally got it. Here I am. Let's go and do this. I would love that. Let me know what you thought about this episode. This is a little bit of a teaser because I do talk about some of these things in next week's episode as well. And I really, really hope you join me because I do have a special guest who has kind of taken over the podcast to be the host so I can be in guest mode and answer some of your questions. But yeah, all right, it's time to rest my voice now. So I will see you here next week. Join me. Check your emails for lots of really great things. Check the show description for all the links. I will see you here next week, everybody. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Remember to check out the show notes for all relevant links and resources from today's show. See you next time.